Good day and welcome to Cyber CEO, a segment where we record quick 2 to 5 minute videos explaining terminologies around cybersecurity and IT. Today we're asking what are managed service providers, or what is a managed service provider in the IT space, or short, often referred to as an MSP. Pretty much right away dive into a bit of text-based today, but in a nutshell, let's go through what's not a managed service provider. A managed service provider is your classic pay-as-you-go, ad hoc, on-demand, or my favorite term for it, break-fix IT support. I like the term break-fix because that's pretty much what it is. Ad hoc break-fix IT support is something breaks, you call IT, and IT fixes it. So it's very reactive as opposed to proactive, which is what the MSP offering usually delivers. It's normally charged on a time and material basis. So if nothing happens in a month, you don't pay for anything. If a lot happens in a month, you pay for a lot. That is really hard to budget. And this is why it's not usually the recommended approach. There is in most instances no monitoring, and there's just no commitment. There's no relationship. It's whenever you need IT, you call them and they may or may not fix it. In particular for growing business, the benefits of managed services are proactive support, often driven by basic monitoring functionality. So for example, drive space is running out or something happening with a managed antivirus that is part of the MSP agreement is essentially evaluated as it happens, and then it's proactively approach or proactive fix is recommended. It's normally priced based on a fixed cost per month per user, per computer, per server, per networking device, whichever way it's approached. And it tends to include all end user support and also all end user maintenance. The only issue is scope or clarity of scope. That's probably the biggest issue by far. And that's why let's have a quick look what's normally in scope and out of scope. So with the MSP, normally you pay a fixed fee for everything that's in scope, and that should, in our instance, it does. It includes literally all employee technical support, all ongoing maintenance, all warranty handling, all day-to-day IT issues, and also some baseline consulting. What MSP does not include, because it's very, very hard to gauge or preempt, if you will, is obviously training. So there's a fundamental difference between an employee saying, when I run a mail merge from Excel into Word to send out emails using Outlook, and my Outlook crashes when I start to run that, that is employee technical support, and that's usually covered in an MSP scope, as opposed to an employee saying, oh, I have a task, I need to do this, and I don't know how to run a mail merge. How do I run a mail merge? That's obviously training. Generally, I like to point out scope exclusions as anything new. Moving into a new office, getting a new computer, installing brand new software, a new line of business application, or a new practice management solution, something like that. So anything new is usually out of scope because the because the managed service provider scope is in relation to support and maintenance and not in relation to projects. Cool. Why is it relevant to cybersecurity? It is very much so because with managed services, usually because you have a committed ongoing relationship with a provider, they tend to, and we would do that, they tend to monitor your antivirus. They ensure that your operating system updates are always in place and up to date. That's usually part of MSP. Same applies to applications. And quite often there's a basic backup monitoring and potentially data recovery test runs every 2 to 3 months involved as well. And these are all obviously cybersecurity relevant areas. In a nutshell, you can also compare it to having a car that is being regularly serviced, runs smooth, tends not to break down, as opposed to riding a bomb that every couple of months breaks down and causes headaches. That's really what MSP does, is it provides if you will, a servicing. If you want to talk to us about managed services, we'd happy to have the conversation. We're looking after hundreds of clients, and we'd love to welcome you too. We service everything of Australia and New Zealand, and hope you have a lovely day. Thanks so much for your time.